Hey, thanks for joining me in another video, guys. This one is on the Sony Xperia Z. It's my first impressions. So getting started on the device, I will say that let me start with a couple of dislikes. Let me adjust the camera real quick here, one moment. I don't normally start with dislikes, but there are some dislikes that I have about this device already. Not a dislike that will make me want to get rid of it or anything like that. It's just a small thing that after using other devices, I'm used to certain things, and then we all get that way. But the one of the huge dislikes that things about the phone I don't like is that speaker placement. That is the speaker right there, and that is just horrible. It's really easy to cover, as you can see. I'm right-handed, so I don't think they thought this through very well. The speaker just touching right here muffles the you can completely quiet. Just completely quiet right there. That little slot right there is definitely not enough for a speaker. Very easy to cover. Sometimes I'm holding it, or I'm holding it like this. I'm watching a video, I'm like, oh, I gotta hold it a different way like this. It's just not a good placement for a speaker. It's just not. It's just a horrible spot for a speaker, especially if you're trying to get people to with the volume key on the right side right here, and the power. If you wanted a person to hold it like this, why would you put the speaker right there? I don't know if any other people have pointed this out. I'm sure they have, but that's just a horrible placement for a speaker. And to top it off, it's not very loud at all. Let me just give you an example. Let's go into some music here, and I'll just show you. Let's see. Alright, so I'm just going to play this. Crank it up. So, there it is. If I'm holding it like this, look at how that is. That's just horrible. That is just, I can't even put it in word. That is horrible. But you know, other than that, we'll move on from the major dislike, because I spent 2 minutes talking about that and I didn't mean to. But anyway, this device is sleek, to say the least. 7.9 millimeters in thickness. It's really nice. I've definitely gotten it wet, and that's a huge plus. It works. It doesn't. It is water resistant, not waterproof, but it can definitely take some water dripping on it, or you know, if you're getting out of the shower or whatever, it definitely can handle it. The screen is really responsive. One thing I say about this particular Android device is no rebooting. You know, it hasn't frozen on me at all. It hasn't rebooted or anything. It seems pretty solid so far. The processing power is nice. The front camera and the rear camera are just horrible in low light. That's about the best compliment I can give it. They're just not good in low light. Like if I'm sitting in, even with I'll say a room at nighttime with a light on, a single light on in the room, almost all of my other camera phones, last night I compared it to my iPhone 5, and the iPhone 5 with no flash just kind of lit up the room. I had to turn the flash on this device to even get it to a little bit on par. You know, we all know it doesn't matter how many megapixels it has, it's the lens and how much light it's getting in there. And unfortunately, this phone does not perform well in low lighting, and the front camera is just almost not usable. It's unbelievable. When I say low lighting, I'm not talking about a dark room, but it's just not a phone that I would use it in the nighttime with the light on in the room, or just relaxing in a low lit room. This isn't the phone for that type of use. In daylight, the camera is great. Head over and check out the video sample that I did. It came out pretty good. Not the best, but it came out good enough for everyday use. The ports on here are a port that I open frequently is the headphone jack. I find myself in that charging port, and to get these open, it's a little annoying at times. It reminds me of the old flaps on the bottom of the Samsung devices. I don't know if you remember those, but it's a little annoying getting those in and out of there. It's kind of frustrating at times. But this device is performing very well. It's it's a solid device. It's kind of like it's a mixed bag. Sometimes it's perfect, and in other times I feel like, oh gosh, you really can't use this device while it's on the charger, because what I found, it's not like other phones. If you're charging it, now it's not recommended that you use a device while it's charging, but most of us do. I mean, there's no rules to say we're not allowed to. It's just one of those things that we do. When your phone gets low, we want to still use it. It's just one of those devices that you can't use while charging, because it's pulling more power to make it work than it is to actually charge it. It takes a long time to charge, and it's just not a device that I can use while charging, and that's something that I like to do sometimes. But there are a lot of pluses to this device. I don't really care about people saying it's a fingerprint magnet. I don't really care about it. I love how this device looks. It's a really solidly built device. I feel like if I drop this, it probably won't fall to pieces or crack easily. Even though the back is plastic, this is the glass. I feel like this glass is pretty strong. I did a little key test. It's okay. It's a nice device. So I won't go too far in it. This is my first impressions of it, and I'm really enjoying it. It doesn't sound like I'm enjoying it probably, but I am enjoying this device. It's a really nice device. The 5-inch display is very nice. It just works. It's really nice. I'm really not a fan of this type of menu here with this white little thing, the outline. I don't really. I mean, it's a small thing, but I don't like it. I really enjoy though the Sony applications that are on here. Really nice. I think this is going to be a great device to have. At this point, I would say my first impressions are I would recommend it. The battery life is strong some days, strong sometimes, and then sometimes it's not. In the 24 hours that I've had it, it's just, I've charged it at least 3 times easy. But it works. I'm not gonna I sound pretty negative about it, but I really do like this phone. So first impressions are I'm somewhat impressed. This is going to be it's a tough battle up against the other phones that I have in my repertoire, and it's I think more so I'm kind of surprised at the camera when I was taking the pictures last night. Let me see if I can open up. Let me see if I still have it on here, if I didn't delete it or not. That's another thing. The lock screen on here, man. If you try to open the lock screen, it just, it's annoying. All right, so here's a picture that I took last night. This room that I was in, this is obviously I was laying on the bed, and I had the lights on in the room, and and I had to turn on flash to get it to make it this bright. It's just not as strong of a camera as I would hope it to be. Now here's a picture that I took on my iPhone 5. I took a picture of this phone on my iPhone 5. I don't know how good it comes across on camera, but you can clearly see there's a difference here. This was with no flash. You can tell I actually have a light on in the room with, because it's lighting up the photo. But the camera on this one is, for it to be a 13 megapixel camera, it doesn't say much about the phone. But anyway, first impressions are I'm somewhat impressed. So we'll get going on some more videos shortly. See you guys in the next video.